Solomon is among the most iconic kings in history, one of the most prosperous rulers of all time, and one of the wealthiest men the world has ever seen. In the Bible, he received prominence not only for being the successor to his father, King David, on the throne of Israel, but also for his extraordinary wisdom and remarkable works. The most prominent of these was the first temple of Jerusalem. To give you an idea, even though Solomon is not mentioned in the biblical text until the later days of David are recorded, after that, his name appears around 300 times in the Old Testament alone, and at least 12 times in the New Testament. Additionally, Solomon's name is mentioned in other non-biblical writings and is entangled in Jewish legends that relate him to a series of mystical and even obscure practices, such as alleged demon control. However, in this video, you will get to know the true story of Solomon according to the Bible. King Solomon was the son of David and Bathsheba, who had been the wife of Uriah. Therefore, Solomon was born while David was already reigning from Jerusalem. He is also known in the Bible by the name that means beloved by the Lord. King Solomon ruled over Israel for about 40 years, approximately between 971 and 931 BC. There is virtually no information about the early years and youth of Solomon. But considering the biblical information about David's family life, we can establish a parameter for the kind of environment in which Solomon grew up. We know that David had multiple wives, which resulted in many problems between his wives and children. Moreover, Solomon appears in the biblical narrative in a context of great tension within the royal family, amid a struggle for the throne of Israel. Before that, Absalom, Solomon's half-brother, had already attempted to usurp his father's throne but was unsuccessful. Later, Adonijah, David's oldest son, tried to do the same, self-proclaiming himself as king over Israel. He gained the support of Joab, David's former general, and the priest Abiathar, attempting in every way to seize his father's throne, including holding a coronation celebration. However, when they learned of Adonijah's plan, Bathsheba, the prophet Nathan, the priest Zadok, and other allies worked to remind David of the promise regarding Solomon as his successor. Thus, Solomon was crowned as the king of Israel, anointed by Zadok. Presumably, when he was crowned, King Solomon was no more than 18 years old. His reign was long, lasting for approximately 4 decades, roughly between 971 and 931 BC. After David's death, Solomon followed his father's instructions to solidify his position as king, dismantling any internal opposition. He ordered the deaths of Adonijah and Joab, banished Abiathar, and then ruled without internal opposition. King Solomon inherited from David an extensive territory of approximately 128,000 square kilometers. During his reign, Solomon improved the domestic conditions of Israel, replacing the old tribal divisions with a division of the territory into 12 administrative districts, each with an officer commissioned by the king. These districts were responsible for providing sustenance for the court throughout the year. The daily provisions list was extensive, including 9,000 kilograms of flour, 30 oxen, sheep, rams, servants, gazelles, roebucks, and well-cared-for birds serving as table delicacies. This quantity of food was intended for the entire court of Israel, likely including all the officials, officers, and the extended family of King Solomon, feeding more than 12,000 people daily. King Solomon's court was organized, and his government aides were referred to as princes. In the military realm, Solomon introduced war chariots and cavalry into his army, built new roads, and established border fortresses to guard trade routes. Solomon excelled in commerce, controlling trade routes and establishing strategic points of operation that generated substantial revenue. Silver became as common in his kingdom as stones and cedar, making him one of the wealthiest men in the history of humanity. He was also a skilled diplomat and rarely faced foreign military threats during his reign. Furthermore, Solomon constructed the Temple of Jerusalem, the most significant of his constructions. He also built other structures such as the House of the Forest of Lebanon, a portico of columns, a throne room where he held court sessions, a house for the daughter of the Pharaoh of Egypt, who was one of his wives, and his own residence, which housed 700 wives and 300 concubines, as well as the necessary servants. Solomon's wisdom is also highlighted in the Bible, particularly in the episode where two mothers dispute the maternity of a newborn baby, and Solomon suggests dividing the child in two to resolve the issue. The real mother prefers to give up the child to save its life, demonstrating her genuine motherhood. Solomon composed thousands of proverbs and songs, and he spoke wisely on various subjects including trees, animals, birds, reptiles, and fish. He was also known for his wisdom in diplomacy, attracting visitors from all over the world to hear his wisdom, including the Queen of Sheba. However, Solomon was not wise in matters related to God. He implemented policies that burdened the Israelites with heavy taxes and practiced mixed worship by following other gods. His reign ended in decline, and the kingdom was worn out. King Solomon is also associated with mystical stories and legends, many of which are based on pseudepigraphal writings from the medieval period. These stories often portray Solomon as being involved in magic, capable of controlling demons, and even conversing with animals. However, these accounts lack solid foundation. In summary, what we know reliably about Solomon is what is recorded in the Bible. Knowledge about him is supplemented by archaeological findings and modern research, although excavations in the area of the ancient Temple of Jerusalem are problematic due to political and religious issues. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell to receive a notification every time we upload a new video. Thank you very much.